Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, right up until this year, it has been a close race between Herbert Hoover and George W. Bush as to who was the worst president in American history. But neither of them has anything to worry about anymore. Donald Trump is going to let them both off the hook. Now, you might say it's a little early to make the judgment that he's the worst president in history. And look, I understand there is a learning curve for every president. So I'm not just making this judgment based on the problems Trump is having in his first few months. Although no administration that I can recall has had as much chaos as this one. What I'm basing my judgment on is Trump's reaction to it. A mixture of bombast and bluster and finger-pointing at everybody else but himself. Trump has accepted no responsibility for the mistakes he has made. Nothing is ever his fault. Mostly, he blames Obama, even though Obama has kept a pretty low profile since he left office. And because Trump can't take responsibility for his mistakes, it's impossible for him to learn from them. And this is why the White House remains in a constant state of chaos. The latest mistake that Trump made was his leaking of top secret information to the Russians. Now, if you had any doubt that Donald Trump collaborated with the Russians, you should have none now. Not only did it happen during the election, it's still going on. Now, there is nothing wrong with sharing information about a threat. And this threat was that ISIS was working on a way to use computers as bombs. A legitimate threat. But information on that was already in the public. You might remember reading articles a month or two ago that the airlines were considering banning computers on their planes because of this threat. So that was in the public eye. That was already out there. The Russians, I'm sure, already knew about it. And if the Russians or anybody else needed more information about it, he should have had someone from the intelligence community do a briefing, because they would have done the briefing in a way that would not betray anything about the intel that was gathered. They would have given them the details about the threat without betraying anything about sources or how they came about across this intelligence. Instead, our dumbass egomaniac in the White House couldn't resist showing off for the Russians and gave away information that may have placed people in danger and that certainly jeopardized our ability to receive information from other intelligence agencies. We have had very good relationships with our allies and have shared information back and forth freely with intelligence agencies. That's likely to slow down or even stop because they know that they can't trust the big mouth in the White House. So that means that we are less safe than we were before Trump took office. Just having Trump in the White House places us all in danger. So in slightly more than 100 days, Donald Trump has managed to make us all a little less safe. And don't forget, Trump was getting intelligence briefings before the November election. I wonder how much of that information he shared with the Russians. Thanks for listening.